Jesus is amazing in so many ways, but what touches my heart most of all about him is his compassionate love and his forgiving heart. His messages were awesome and very much the opposite of what we hear and see in today's society, a society that is very divided for all sorts of reasons, like class and language, certainly religion, gender, and race. We find it very hard to forgive the people who have hurt us, and even more difficult to love them. We may even adopt a holier-than-thou attitude and be judgmental, and point out the faults of others with a self-righteous attitude. This just hampers our growth, development, or progress as human beings. And more importantly, it is not even being Christ-like at all. Many people wonder whether there will ever be healing for the wounds we suffer. Jesus knows of a way and offers us a way, but it is far from easy. Be merciful, he tells us, as your heavenly Father is merciful. Jesus asks us to love our enemies and to do good to those who harm and hate us. And the whole key is forgiveness. To forgive those who wound us and hurt us, no matter how severe the wounds. Almost from the very beginning of his mission, to make people aware of God's love for them, Jesus faced misunderstandings, rejection, betrayal, ingratitude at the hands of those he loved and came to serve. Throughout his entire life, Jesus showed us his forgiving love, especially when he was hanging on a cross and looked at the faces of those who had crucified him and said this prayer: Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He not only set the example of forgiving love for us, but also taught that we must forgive 70 times 7. That is, without limit. We must forgive because our Heavenly Father forgives us. So if we want to experience God's mercy, we must rid ourselves of revenge, bitterness, and hatred. Forgiveness is at the very heart of a Christian. It is the most divine thing we can do. Forgiving frees those who suffer hurtful wounds and lets them go on with their lives. This does not mean that forgiving will make the wounds disappear as if they never happened. But what forgiveness will do is allow us to live with those wounds. Forgiveness is definitely not easy. Jesus knew this, and still he asks us to struggle through the feelings of anger and resentment toward those who have hurt us until we find it in our hearts to be merciful, and hopefully that will bring us to forgive. Only a compassionate heart can break the cycle of hatred and anger, resentment and revenge. Forgiving is often the result of a slow, lengthy, and painful process of letting go of the hurts. Someone's action toward us may have been wrong and destructive of our relationship, but one thing we should never say or even think, no matter how great the hurt might be, that we could never forgive that person. Forgiveness, like love, is always a choice. A fact we cannot deny is that every one of us has received divine forgiveness. No matter how far we may stray from God, He is always there to give us a way back to Him and is ready to forgive us. So Jesus calls us to be a forgiving people. He calls us to ask for forgiveness from those we have wounded and to forgive those who have wounded us. This is our call as followers of Jesus. Pardon, and you will be pardoned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. God bless you all.